Hi, my name is Hugh, and today we want to talk about what to do if there's a problem connecting the Peak Simple software that comes with our gas chromatographs to the computer. So sometimes there's a problem. So we'll go through the process of going to the internet, and then we'll go to the SRI website, which is srigc.com, and then click download and then software downloads. So this page shows all the different software downloads for different operating systems such as Windows 10, Windows 8, Windows 7, XP, all the way back to DOS, which is back in the 1990s. We have versions covering all those different ones. But normally you would download the latest version unless there's some reason not to. So I'm going to download this version called Peak Simple version 488 for Windows 10. By the time you see this video, that version number may have changed depending on when you do this download. So we'll click the download. It's about a 10 megabyte download. So I'm at halfway there now. So the download is a setup file which contains all the necessary files to start up the software and communicate with the GC. So it's done now, so I'll double click here where it says Setup Peak 488 Win 10. And Windows tries to protect you from us because they're not sure if this is a virus or not. So you have to override Windows by clicking more info, and then you have to say run anyway. And then you have to give another permission by saying yes, and then finally you're at our installation program. So you click next, and then this is the name of the folder that it's going to save all these files in. So it's best to just leave the default name rather than pick some other folder name. So this is going to be C:peak 488 Win 10. So I'll just click next, and now it's installing all the files, and now it's done. So I'm going to disconnect myself from the internet now, because sometimes what happens is you have to do the installation when you're not connected to the internet, and that sometimes causes the driver, the famous driver program, not to load automatically. Normally if you are connected to the internet and you're using Windows 10, then the driver will automatically download itself from the internet, so you don't have to bother with it. But if you're not connected to the internet, that's when you typically have to go through this little manual driver loading procedure. So I'm going to launch Peak Simple by double clicking on the icon, and the first thing Peak Simple wants to know is the port number. So every GC has a port number. It's located immediately below where you plug the USB cable in. So this particular GC number is 3513. So that's the number that it's asking for here, is 3513. So when I click continue, it tries to connect to the GC. So it's not able to connect, and the message that it gives you is important, because if it says failure to enumerate, that's ENUMERATE, failure to enumerate, it means that the driver didn't load properly. So to fix that, what we do is we go to the Device Manager screen. So the Windows Start button down here at the lower left, you can either right click or left click on that. If you right click, you get this menu that pops up, and then one of the choices is this screen called Device Manager. So you select that, and it takes you to a screen that looks like this. So If the driver is correctly loaded, and you expand this little arrow here down where it says Universal Serial Bus Devices, if the driver was loaded successfully, you'll see this icon that says SRI 333. Or it might say Lawson Labs 2. It depends on the type of hardware you have. But clearly that's our little data system that the computer has already recognized because the driver was loaded correctly. So if it looks like this, it means the driver was loaded correctly. If there's a little yellow triangle in front of this, it means there's a problem. And then what you have to do is right-click on that icon and click Update Driver. So sometimes, depending on Windows mood at the moment, you might have to click a couple of different things to get to a box that lets you update the driver. But that's where we want to go. We want to update the driver if there's a yellow triangle in front of that SRI word. And since we're not connected to the internet, we can't really search automatically. So we have to browse the computer for the driver. So the driver is located in the same folder that we installed into, right? So we browse the computer. So you go to this PC, and then you go down to and you find the folder, right? You go to the C drive, and then you find the Peak Simple folder, and you put that in the browse box, and that's as far down as you have to go. You don't have to find the actual driver file. You just have to identify the folder that it's in, and then you click Next, and then it'll either say the best driver is already installed if it's correct, or it will install the driver from Peak Simple. So at that point, you go back to the device manager screen, and you should successfully see this icon with no yellow triangles. So that should fix it for once and for all on this computer, because once the driver is loaded once, it pretty much stays good forever. So thank you, and hopefully that'll solve any connection problems that you have.